What if your destiny was already cursed before you even opened your eyes? What if the person who gave you life was the same person who offered your soul to darkness? This is the story of Adaeze, woman born under a blood moon, betrayed by her own mother, and forced to fight for her life, her children, and her soul. Her journey is one of resilience, heartbreak, and discovery, and it begins in the most unlikely of places, a small village in Nigeria where the forces of fate and the supernatural collide in unimaginable ways. But before we dive into this haunting African folktale, take a second to like, share, and subscribe. We bring you powerful, untold stories from across Africa, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. Stay with us as we unravel stories that have been passed down through generations, stories that hold the truths of a people, their struggles, their triumphs, and the lessons hidden in the shadows of their past. In a small Nigerian village called Nwokocha, nestled among the green hills and thick forests, a girl named Adaeze was born on a fateful night under a blood-red moon. The sky glowed like fire, and the wind whispered secrets that only the elders could hear. The air was thick with mystery, and a sense of foreboding filled the night. The villagers feared this moon. It meant something rare, something powerful. Some said Adaeze was a gift from the heavens, a divine blessing sent to bring light to the darkness. Others, however, saw her as a warning, a sign of a great curse that would one day unfold. Whispers of the blood moon's power traveled far, and even the elders, who had seen many things in their long lives, couldn't explain its true meaning. Her mother, Mama Ojugo, a woman with sharp eyes and a stoic demeanor, held her baby close in the dark hours of that fateful night. As she gazed into the firelight, she whispered words that no one else could hear. "You will bring light, but first, darkness will walk with you." Mama Ojugo knew the truth of her daughter's destiny, but she kept it hidden from the world, from Adaeze, and even from herself for a time. She understood that Adaeze was special, but she also knew that the child was marked, destined for something far beyond the ordinary life the villagers might have hoped for her. Adaeze's destiny was written in the stars, and the path she would walk would be both painful and extraordinary. As Adaeze grew, she was full of life, bright, kind, and loved by many. She was a beacon of joy in the village, always helping those in need, always bringing light into the lives of others. Yet, there was something strange about her. Strange things seemed to happen when she was around. Mirrors would crack without cause, shadows would move on their own, and sometimes, when she was alone, she would hear faint whispers in the wind, voices calling her name. Still, Adaeze pushed forward with her dreams, hoping for a future beyond the small confines of her village. She wanted to see the world, to experience life beyond the hills and the dense forests that had cradled her for so many years. Her dreams were full of color, of possibility, of a world where she could live free of the whispers, free of the strange happenings that seemed to follow her every step. At the age of 20, Adaeze met Namdi, a tall, handsome man from the bustling city. He had a charm about him, a confidence that made her believe that anything was possible. Namdi told her about Europe, about a life filled with opportunity, where dreams could come true, where everything was waiting for those brave enough to reach for it. He spoke of freedom, of adventure, of a future that shimmered with promise. He made her believe in dreams. And so, Adaeze followed him. They got married in a beautiful ceremony filled with dancing, blessings, and the sounds of celebration. The village came alive with joy, honoring the couple as they embarked on this new chapter of their lives. But on her wedding night, Mama Ojugo, her mother, gave her a strange necklace and whispered cryptic words that Adaeze would never forget. "Never take this off, no matter what." Adaeze didn't fully understand her mother's warning, but she trusted her. The necklace was beautiful, small, simple thing, but it seemed to hold a a power that she couldn't comprehend at the time. She packed her things and left for Europe, filled with hope and dreams of a better life, a life beyond the village and the strange forces that had always followed her. In Europe, Adaeze and Namdi started their new life. They had 2 beautiful children, and at first, everything seemed perfect. They built a life together, one filled with promise and the potential for greatness. But slowly, everything began to fall apart. Namdi, once loving and kind, began to change. He became cold, distant, and eventually cruel. His words grew harsh, his actions colder. The love they once shared began to wither, replaced by bitterness and resentment. The children, who had once been full of energy and laughter, grew sick over and over again. They visited doctor after doctor, but no one could find an explanation. And then the immigration officers came knocking. Adaeze's visa had been revoked. Without warning, her entire world collapsed. Namdi left her, taking the children with him, leaving Adaeze with nothing but a suitcase and a broken heart. Deported, alone, and stranded in a foreign land, Adaeze is forced to return to Nigeria, broken and uncertain of her future. Back in Nigeria, Adaeze returned to an empty house. The village that had once been home now felt foreign and cold. Her father had passed away while she was abroad, and her siblings had long since left, seeking their own lives in faraway places. The only person left was Mama Ojugo sitting alone in the dark, grinding herbs and muttering to herself as she always had. That night, as Adaeze wandered the empty village, she heard the whispers again. This time, they seemed to call her, urging her to follow them. With no other choice, she followed the sound, her heart racing with a mixture of fear and curiosity. What she saw would haunt her forever. Mama Ojugo, her mother, was kneeling before a clay pot, her hands moving in a ritualistic pattern. The pot was covered in bones, feathers, and ash, and around it strange symbols had been drawn in the dirt. Her mother spoke in a low, guttural voice, words that Adaeze couldn't understand. She should have stayed. The spirits demand her suffering. I gave them my own blood to protect the rest of us. Adaeze's heart dropped as the full weight of the truth hit her. Her own mother had cursed her. The life she had lost, the children, she had lost the dreams she had lost. They were all a sacrifice, a price Mama Ojugo had paid to protect the rest of the family. Her mother's love for her was deep, but it was also twisted by a pact with the darkness. Adaeze was the offering, the chosen one to bear the burden of the curse. In a haze of shock and grief, Adaeze ran to the village elders, desperate for answers. They told her to seek the Oracle of Udi. Deep in the mountains, a mysterious figure who held the power to reveal the truth and perhaps even break the curse. The Oracle, an ancient being shrouded in mystery, revealed the truth that would change Adaeze's life forever. To break the curse, she must find the Tear of Abele, a sacred gem hidden in the Cavern of Whispers. The cavern, a place of legend, was said to be home to the spirits of the damned, where the souls of the lost were tested in ways that could break even the strongest of wills. Adaeze, armed only with her courage and the necklace her mother had given her, set out on the perilous journey. She traveled through dense forests, crossed treacherous rivers, and braved the darkest of nights, all the while feeling the weight of her destiny pressing down upon her. When she finally reached the Cavern of Whispers, the spirits attacked her, testing her resolve. But Adaeze stood firm. With the necklace clutched tightly in her hands, she shouted into the cavern, "I am not your prisoner. I will not be your offering. I am my own power." The spirits, sensing the strength in her words, vanished into the darkness. The cavern fell silent. Adaeze had claimed the Tear of Eboli, the sacred gem that would break the curse once and for all. She returned to her village, standing under the blood-red moon, the same moon that had watched over her birth. With the Tear of Abel in hand, she performed the ritual that would bring an end to the curse. The dark shadow that had hung over her family for so long was finally lifted. Mama Ojugo, her face twisted in pain and regret, cried in silence, realizing the depth of her mistake. But Adaeze didn't look back. She walked away from her mother, from the past, and toward a future filled with strength, wisdom, and the freedom to live her life on her own terms. Adaeze stayed in Nigeria. She became a teacher, a mentor, a guiding light for young girls and women. She taught them to understand their worth, to find their voices, and to reclaim their power. The girl born under a blood moon had become the woman who broke a bloodline curse. If this story moved you, if it made you feel, cry, or even question your own path, then take a second right now to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let's keep these powerful African stories alive, because some truths are too deep to be forgotten. Thank you for watching.